You're about to board your 2026 cruise, thinking you've paid for everything up front. But here's what the cruise lines don't advertise. Your cabin alone could hit you with 11 sneaky fees that'll drain hundreds from your vacation budget before you even unpack. I've seen families lose over $500 in their first 48 hours simply because they didn't know these hidden charges existed. Most cruisers discover these fees the hard way, standing at guest services with a shocking bill they never saw coming. Stick with me because what I'm about to reveal will save you serious money. And number 9 is the one that catches even experienced cruisers completely off guard. Let me start with the fee that hits you before you even see your cabin. The automatic gratuity charge that gets added per person, per day. Here's what most people don't realize. This isn't optional on most major cruise lines. Royal Caribbean, Carnival, and Norwegian automatically charge between $14 and $18 per person daily, and it goes straight onto your onboard account the moment you step aboard. I watched a family of 4 on a 7-day Caribbean cruise get hit with over $500 in automatic gratuities they hadn't budgeted for. They thought gratuities were included in their promotional fare, but that's almost never the case. The cruise line adds these charges automatically, and while you technically can adjust them at guest services, you'll face serious social pressure and judgment from the staff. Here's your pro tip. Calculate these gratuities before you book by multiplying the daily rate times the number of people times the number of nights. Add that to your cruise fare so you're not shocked when you check your account on embarkation day. Now let's talk about the minibar restocking fee that's draining wallets on premium cruise lines. MSC, Celebrity, and Virgin Voyages stock your cabin with sodas, water, and snacks that look complimentary but absolutely are not. I met a couple on an MSC cruise who grabbed 2 bottles of water from their cabin fridge thinking they were free welcome amenities. Those 2 bottles cost them $8 each, and the minibar automatically restocked overnight, tempting them again the next day. The truth is these minibars use weight sensors, so the moment you remove an item, it's charged to your account. By day 3, they'd racked up $120 in minibar charges without even realizing they were being billed. Most cruisers don't check their account until midway through the cruise, and by then the charges have piled up. Here's the catch. Some cruise lines will remove the minibar items if you request it at embarkation, but you have to ask proactively. Call ahead or visit guest services on day 1 and request they empty your minibar completely. Bring your own water bottles and snacks from home, and you'll save a fortune. The room service fee is another charge that catches people completely off guard, especially on cruise lines that used to offer it free. Carnival now charges $5 per room service delivery except for continental breakfast, and Norwegian charges between $8 and $10 depending on the time of day. I watched a passenger order room service 3 times during a 5-day cruise thinking it was included in their fare. That's $15 in delivery fees alone, not counting the actual food costs. But wait, here's where it gets worse. If you order multiple items in one delivery, some cruise lines charge per item, not per delivery. Royal Caribbean's room service menu shows a convenience charge that applies to most items, and if you order a burger, fries, and a milkshake, you might pay 3 separate fees. The smart cruisers know this trick. Order continental breakfast room service, which is still free on most lines, and grab food from the buffet for other meals. If you absolutely need room service for lunch or dinner, consolidate everything into one large order to minimize delivery fees, and check your cruise line's policy before you sail. Here's one that shocks people every single time. The in-cabin entertainment fee for premium movies and streaming content. Royal Caribbean and Celebrity charge between $12 and $15 to rent new release movies in your stateroom. And some cruisers don't realize these charges apply until they get their final bill. I spoke with a dad who let his kids watch 3 movies during a rainy sea day, thinking the TV entertainment was part of their package. Those 3 movies cost him $42, and he didn't discover the charges until disembarkation morning. Most people think that all TV content in their cabin is free, but actually why? Only certain channels and older content are complimentary. The newer the movie, the higher the rental fee, and it's not always clearly marked on the screen before you hit play. Here's your action step. Before you let anyone in your cabin select a movie, check if there's a rental symbol or price indicator. Bring a tablet loaded with downloaded Netflix or Disney Plus content from home, or stick to the free TV channels and avoid the premium entertainment charges entirely. The safe deposit fee is one that barely anyone knows about until they're standing at guest services with a problem. Most cruise lines provide an in-cabin safe completely free, but if you lock yourself out or forget your combination, you'll face a fee ranging from $50 to $100 for a crew member to override it. I met a woman on a Carnival cruise who changed her safe code midweek and couldn't remember it when she needed to retrieve her passport for a port stop. The override fee was $75, and she had no choice but to pay it because her documents were locked inside. Here's the part most cruisers don't realize. Cruise lines consider this a service call rather than standard assistance, which is why they charge a premium. Some passengers have reported even higher fees on luxury lines where the safes have more complex security systems. The solution is simple but crucial. Write down your safe combination immediately and store it somewhere outside the safe, like in your luggage or on your phone. Test your combination twice before you store anything valuable, and never change it mid-cruise unless absolutely necessary. Let me tell you about the damage and cleaning fees that can destroy your cruise budget in minutes. Most cruise lines charge between $150 and $250 if your cabin requires deep cleaning beyond normal wear and tear. I watched a family get hit with a $200 cleaning fee because their kids spilled nail polish on the carpet. The parents had no idea that certain types of damage would trigger automatic fees until they received a letter slipped under their door on the final night. Norwegian and Royal Caribbean are particularly strict about this, charging for everything from red wine stains on bedding to cigarette smoke detected in non-smoking cabins. But wait, here's the real kicker. If you smoke in a non-smoking cabin, the fine can reach $250, and they will detect it through smoke sensors and inspector checks. The housekeeping staff reports any unusual damage or stains, and the charges appear on your account without prior warning. Here's your pro tip. Do a video walkthrough of your cabin when you first board, documenting its condition. If you notice existing damage, report it to guest services immediately so you're not blamed for it later. Be extra careful with anything that could stain, and absolutely never smoke in your cabin even with a balcony door open. The connecting cabin fee is something families and groups discover way too late in the booking process. When you reserve 2 cabins and request they be connecting, some cruise lines charge an additional fee of $50 to $150 to guarantee that connection. Princess and Celebrity have been known to charge premium rates for guaranteed connecting rooms, especially during peak season. I spoke with a multi-generational family on a Mediterranean cruise who needed 3 connecting cabins for their group of 10. They paid an extra $300 in connecting cabin fees because they booked last minute, and the cruise line considered it a special request. Most cruisers think that connecting cabins are just a matter of availability at no extra cost, but actually why? Cruise lines treat them as premium accommodations that command higher prices. The truth is, if you don't pay for the guarantee, you might get connecting cabins or you might get rooms on different decks. Here's your action step. If you absolutely need connecting cabins, book as early as possible and confirm the policy with your specific cruise line. Some lines include connections free in suites or higher cabin categories, so upgrading might actually save you money compared to paying connection fees for standard cabins. And number 9. This is the one that shocks even veteran cruisers: the balcony furniture removal or storage fee. Some cruise lines charge between $50 and $100 if you request removal of balcony furniture due to mobility issues or personal preference. MSC and Costa have policies where altering your cabin configuration, including removing deck chairs or tables from your balcony, requires a service fee and approval. I met a couple with mobility concerns who needed their balcony furniture removed to create wheelchair space, and they were stunned to learn this wasn't a standard accommodation, but rather a paid service. The cruise line treated it as a special request requiring crew labor and storage, which triggered the fee. Here's the catch. Not all cruise lines charge this fee, but the ones that do bury it deep in their terms and conditions where nobody reads it. Royal Caribbean and Carnival typically accommodate these requests without fees if it's disability-related, but you need to request it through their accessibility department before sailing. The solution is to contact the Accessibility Services or Special Needs Department at least 30 days before your cruise, document your request in writing, and confirm no fees will apply. The lost key card replacement fee is small but incredibly annoying, and it catches people multiple times per cruise. Most major cruise lines charge between $5 and $10 for each replacement key card if you lose yours. Norwegian and Carnival are strict about this policy, and I've seen passengers rack up $30 in key card fees during a single week-long cruise. The kids lose them at the pool, adults leave them in shore excursion bags, and suddenly you're paying $10 each time you need a replacement. Here's what most people don't realize. Some cruise lines charge more for expedited replacement or after-hours service. If you lose your key card at midnight and need immediate cabin access, that emergency replacement might cost $15 instead of the standard $10. But wait, there's more. Every time you get a replacement, you have to visit guest services and wait in line, wasting precious vacation time. The smart move is to take a photo of your cabin number the moment you board and create a system for storing your key cards. Some cruisers use lanyards. Others use phone cases with card slots. Never leave your cabin without knowing exactly where your key card is, and teach your kids that losing it comes with a real cost. The premium cabin location fee is one that sneaks into your booking without you noticing. Midship cabins, cabins near elevators, or cabins on higher decks often cost $100 to $300 more than identical cabins in less desirable locations. Royal Caribbean and Celebrity charge significant premiums for cabins on specific decks, and Norwegian's studio cabins in their exclusive complex come with access fees built into the rate. I met a couple who paid $250 extra for a midship balcony cabin thinking the location was worth it, but they spent so little time in their cabin that the premium was completely wasted. The truth is cruise lines use dynamic pricing algorithms that charge more for cabins they consider premium, even when the cabin itself is identical in every way except location. Most cruisers think X, that all cabins in a category cost the same, but actually Y, location-based pricing can add hundreds to your final cost. Here's your pro tip. If you're an active cruiser who spends minimal time in your cabin, skip the midship premium and book a forward or aft cabin at a lower rate. The money you save can go towards shore excursions or specialty dining. However, if you're prone to seasickness, the midship investment might be worth it for the stability. Here's the final cabin fee that barely anyone anticipates: the early embarkation or late checkout fee. Some cruise lines charge between $50 and $200 if you want to access your cabin before the standard 1:30 p.m. boarding time or keep it past the morning disembarkation deadline. Celebrity and Princess have been known to offer these services for a premium, especially on back-to-back cruises or when demand is high. I watched a family pay $150 to get into their cabin at 11 a.m. because they had small children who needed naps and they'd arrived early at the port. The cruise line treated it as a guaranteed early access service, which commanded a fee because cabins need to be cleaned and inspected before standard boarding. But wait, here's where it gets interesting. Suite guests and elite loyalty members often get early boarding or late checkout included as a perk, which means the cruise lines absolutely have the capability to offer it. They just charge regular passengers for the privilege. The same goes for late checkout, which some cruise lines will grant for $100 or more if you have a late flight and don't want to sit in the terminal for hours. Here's your action step. Plan your travel schedule around standard embarkation and disembarkation times whenever possible. If you absolutely need early access, check if your credit card travel benefits or loyalty status include it before paying the cruise line's fee. So there you have it, 11 cabin fees that could cost you hundreds of dollars on your 2026 cruise if you're not prepared. From automatic gratuities that add up before you board, to minibar charges that stack up daily, to damage fees that surprise you at checkout. These hidden costs are designed to catch unprepared cruisers off guard. The cruise lines count on passengers not reading the fine print and not asking the right questions before they sail. But now you know exactly what to watch for and how to avoid or minimize every single one of these charges. If this video just saved you money on your next cruise, hit that like button and drop a comment telling me which fee shocked you the most. Subscribe and turn on notifications because my next video reveals the shore excursion mistakes that waste even more money than cabin fees. And trust me, you don't want to miss it. Now go book that 2026 cruise with confidence, knowing exactly what you'll pay and what you can avoid. Happy cruising, and I'll see you in the next one.